Alright guys, such comic again. I hope you're doing that and enjoying your day so far. The OpTic boys reveal their comms when Mercules clutched an unbelievable couple of rounds against Cloud9 just the other day, with multiple discussions from Dashy, from Formal, and also from JP as to just what makes Mercules so strong. We have seen in recent weeks the like of Pred coming out and saying, look, and Shotzzy, you're getting carried by this Mercules kid. It doesn't matter what you do, you're going to win the series regardless. And on many series this season, we have seen effectively exactly that. Lots of positives to Mercules' play. The question that many are asking is, would he improve literally every other CDL team if he joins them? Probably the answer is yes. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Just to quickly start here, because FaZe, they're putting in a documentary type series. They've got back to Phase 1, they're looking back at what happened at the World Cup, running it up to this upcoming season, talking about everything behind the scenes, changing to the pink jerseys and all of that. So it's cool to see the other teams stepping in and making more content. Obviously FaZe have done this before for the last couple of years, but we are now seeing most teams pursue this direction to a certain extent. Some of the content is done better than others, but I think given the success of the process with OpTic, it makes sense for other teams to, you know, take some notes and try and make similar progress as well. And FaZe have had an interesting story in recent times as well. So that is premiering, it seems, tomorrow. This was also a little bit of talking point. The Mount Rushmore of esports. To be honest, I don't watch Fortnite, so I wasn't really aware who Peterbot is. I think that's that guy. But we've got Faker and we've got Simple on the all-time Mount Rushmore of esports. People are trying to figure out who the fourth one might be. Depending on what esport you're a fan of course, you'll probably put different players here. But there was some discussion, like if it has to be someone from COD, who is it, right? Because Crim6 is not maybe unanimously, but considered by the vast majority to be the greatest in COD based on accolade and all that, and that makes sense. But if you had to put him on the Mount Rushmore, would you put Crim6 on there or would you put Scump on there? Because, you know, he's still the face really, and Scump considered by many to be second GOAT, third GOAT, something in that ballpark. So I'm not sure, I just thought it was an interesting discussion, because if you had to put someone on the Mount Rushmore of esports, it's probably Scump, although the actual greatest in COD, in my opinion, is Crim. So intrigued to your thoughts on that. It's a similar discussion really to what Formal has here, because often people talk about, well, what does the all-time ranking look like? Where is Simp on the all-time list? And because, as I say, it's Crim, it's Scump, it's Karma, it's Clay, it's Formal. That is the top 5, most people will say. And it's difficult to find a spot for anyone else on that list. Okay, Simp, Shotzzy even as well, maybe has surpassed some of those players, depending on your opinion. But it's different eras, so it's always going to be challenging to compare, and Formal says that it doesn't really matter what Dashy does. Obviously Formal has way more accolades anyway, well, at least in terms of championship wins. In terms of world championship wins, Dashy has 2. Formal only has 1 in COD, of course, 1 in Halo as well. But look, Formal just says that because of what I was doing on the map back then, it doesn't really, Formal just has this, I mean, aura, I guess, is an overused term, but like around his name and around what he was doing on the map back in Infinite Warfare and the Jetpack era especially, not just that era, but people will think of Formal in that period and be like, well, it's almost impossible to argue that anyone else is better. As he says, there's a group of old heads who will always defend me and call me the best because I was just taking over the map at any time during those seasons. So it's going to be difficult for anyone to surpass that type of legacy. Of course, Formal, I think most people consider probably to be the 5th greatest ever. He wasn't around as long as some others, didn't achieve as much as some others, but from like an AR perspective, the argument really is him versus Clayster. You know, we've had that before, maybe we'll have that argument again at some point. These are the standings. It is the usual suspects, with Thieves included. Thieves are up there at 4-0. They're actually the #1 seed right now because they are 12-2 map count, I think. OpTic are 12-3. So impressive from Thieves, but also they have played relatively easy games. You know, they had a Surge in there, they had a Boston in there, they had a Ravens in there, and all of that. So, look, and they played Toronto as well, right? So I think that was the 4 games that they played. They've not played Cloud9 yet, but Thieves do certainly have all of their hard games to come. But as we know, these teams, they've got to be top 6 if they want to guarantee a winner's bracket spot. If you're 7th through 10th, you have to do a play in Birmingham. If you're 11th and 12th, as you can see by it being blanked out here, you don't even get to go. So that will be Cloud9. There'll be one other team joining Cloud9, not in Birmingham. We'll find out who that is shortly. But it's looking pretty good for Paris, OpTic and Thieves, at least to get some of the top seeds. FaZe, I wouldn't say they're especially vulnerable. But, you know, their loss the other day wasn't great, and they do have some hard matches to come, FaZe. So they need to lock in for sure. These are the rest of the standings. Toronto finally getting a win on the board was big because it puts them back in contention. An 0-4 start would have been pretty shocking. And after we saw Boston's change they made earlier today, well, at least the Sparks coming in discussion with Boston making potentially further changes to come as well, they maybe can make some progress over the next couple of weeks. Speaking of Boston, that Snoopy Cammy Purge trio was a trio for 558 odd days. And that's pretty remarkable in terms of longest teaming players. These are the active streaks of players. So after Simp and aBeZy broke up and Simp and aBeZy and Cellian broke up, it's Insight and CleanX topping the numbers. It was just a remarkable number, really. To think that Dashy and Shotzzy have been a duo for a long time. Obviously, Dashy and Shotzzy, that there was a little bit of, well, it was on and off for a time when Dashy was out and then he was back in and all of that. But if you consider it all together from the start of Vanguard, when Dallas Empire became a thing or no longer became a thing and it was OpTic Texas and they made the combination there, that's what that looks like. Simp and Drazah been together a long time, but Insight and CleanX are topping the list by quite some way. So just thought that was interesting. There was a bit of talk as well about Ghosty and Envoy, because they've been together for some time as well, and they're pretty much tied just behind some of these numbers. So Scrap and HyDra, Metals, Rancor, JoeDeceives, Insight, and CleanX as well as a trio. So yeah, you might now be tied for 5th, I fear, after, well, the active streak might well be coming to an end there. But Mercules has not been in the league that long. He's not been in the league a year yet. It's actually quite substantially less than a year. Major Four towards the end of last season steps in for beans after the visa upon him, and of course the rest since then is history. But I think it's just the quality of Mercules' play, the consistency, which really turns heads, right? JP's talking about it, the OpTic boys are talking about it, we had Pred talking about it the other day, because in previous seasons, OpTic would just not win online matches at this frequency. Certainly some of the more tricky ones. They play Miami, they're going down game 1. You know, the amount of OpTic series where they've done that in recent seasons, they've lost the game 1, they look a little bit shell-shocked, then they lose the series, and it's like, well, it is what it is. It's only online Call of Duty. But Mercules will bail them out in a lot of situations, certainly in Search and Destroy. We have seen that so far this season. You know, his numbers in Stage, he has a 1.7 in Search this stage. Over this season, he has about a 1.5 in Search, best in the league. Not even really that close. And JP says that there's more to it than that. I know that Don has said that, well, Merc is on the short bus, so that's why he's so good. And it's the same story with the rest of the guys on OpTic to an extent. But JP says that that's his biggest strength, that he's kind of uncheckable, right? Like, he is just a mentality monster, adaptable player, and when things go wrong, he doesn't crash out by any means. And I think that that's infected OpTic to a certain degree. There's many series this season where I know that in previous years it wouldn't have gone the same way. But OpTic, and it wasn't just OpTic, like this series, for example, it wasn't just Merc. This series, when they went down game 1 to Miami, and then it was Shotzzy who made the crazy play that effectively got them the win in the game 2. It wasn't just Mercules, of course, but the point is that as a team, they do appear to be in a better position than they have been for a long time.
Yeah, after the second map, he's like, bro, what's Splash? You didn't tell me I was changing my operator, you're trolling. I was like, bro, what? I'm about to change the yours. I'm like, don't even switch, I'll just go to you, bro.
Yeah, that gimmick is actually fucking hilarious.
Pretend to be Macer on the map.
Bro, what? It's like, I'm like, what are you running? Because like at this point, they're fucking squaring the shit out of me. They're not. Actually. They're actually not.
That's where his cat has way better aim assists.
In the backside of Dojo, it's a 1v3 for Merc.
Nice, you got this. Okis was here. Bounty, way better. One more, shit on. Oh my god.
Nice, Perk. Way
Good
better.
shit.
Fuck.
I thought that was Ant. Good shit, Perk.
Bro, that's, I don't know. You just shit on them. Back to the lobby, sorry.
And Mercules have another clutch.
1v2 this time. Technically easier. Oh my gosh, if he decides to full wrap this. Oh, dude.
Man.
I like this.
This kid's situational awareness is next level. knows that these guys are new, likely going to play on top of one another. You knew Dashy was chasing one. Unbelievable.
On it.
Got it.
Does he get an angle? Unbelievable.
16. He just rehopped
You
it.
hopped it right away.
Yeah, actually committing. Wow.
Bro, you're actually the goat.
Bro, what are you
Fuck am I watching?
doing?
Good shit, bro.
Thought we were gonna play this map.
I'm telling you, these guys are pissing down their leg. Like, that is just unacceptable.
What does this kid doing?
I just got naded. I'm out.
I've over kind of.
One's a dojo.
I stunned
Dojo,
it.
one shot. Can you watch
Hey,
your
dojo,
cross?
dojo.
I'm trying to watch it.
I'm nading in their
I
window.
don't see shit mid.
One guy's weak, getting wall banked. One shot, one shot.
Top window now, dude. Another one mid. I gave up con. Con's open. Right,
You
Flashing
dojo.
con.
guys.
Yeah, they could
Okay,
cross. Wait,
okay.
do you have
I-
cross?
Yo, enter dojo, enter dojo. Okay.
I don't have you yet.
One shot, dojo.
Dojo, done. Con, close.
Out one shot. One shot, bro. In 10. Yeah, they're both in 10. They're both in 10. One's one shot.
Pistol out. Off the reload. Nade doesn't tag fully. Time on his side.
They're not even on it. They're not even on it. You're good.
Space is not looking good. 8 seconds.
Nice. Good
Shit, well
shot.
played.
Fucking
shot.
shit, bro.
Yeah, run it this.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, Mercules just broke the
This fucking shit, me.
Good map.
I gotta go use the bathroom.
Your clutches.
Yeah, good clutches, man.
Yeah, good.
Yo, back right. Close.
Yeah, inner slower.
Okay, sit down.
Inner weak.
Inner,
Good.
inner.
I'm
Telling
on here.
out, telling
Keep
out.
better. I'm a bullet. One might pinch. I'll watch your pinch it.
Look back, back,
Pinch.
back. You
Pinch a
yeah.
bullet. Pinch a bullet.
D4 as well.
Back right, man.
Nice.
Nice, good shit.
Good fucking map. Or good fucking round. Not over yet. My bad.
Probably
Another one there.
gonna
Another one there.
Over long.
Or short, done.
Probably the Warren.
They're Warren. Nice, good shot.
That's a good P5. Good idea.
Con. Nice, good shot. Fucking shit, baby. Ruler.
Good map.
You know, obviously, you know, we talk about game sense. We talk about like just Gunny, his ability to do it. Like, there's a lot of things that he does well. Don't get me wrong, but one of the most impressive thing is, bro, he could be playing on super delay. He could be playing on with, you know, a wrong controller or broken control. I swear it just never check. Like, he's uncheckable. Like, nothing that you could be playing. Like, he could be playing with wrong settings or something, and I swear he would do the same thing, and it doesn't like fuck up his head. It doesn't like change the way he plays. And that, like, mental wise, is something that a lot of people, it's hard for them to deal with. Like, if it's not the same every day, if it's not the same way that they're expecting the game to look at, or like to look like, or view the game, he's very adaptable in that, and that might be one of his biggest traits. And I'm just like, I don't know how you get it, 'cause I swear to God, like, one of his matches, his monitor was like tilted. You know how like X tilts it like.
So I'm sure that Mercules will be on the OpTic Supermax. I can't imagine that he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I imagine that every other team, is Mercules the best player in the game right now? That's a debate. I think people would possibly still say Neptune based on, of course, like MVP at the major. Kenny made the argument that it's got to be Nep because he was MVP at the first tournament, and until someone else is MVP, then it is Neptune the best player. There's some debate on that. I think Simp is right up there. The top 3 players in the game to me are Neptune, Simp, and Mercules in some order or another. You could argue Merc is the best. Certainly he's the best AR in the game, at least in terms of impact. Scrap, I don't think, is a million miles away. I think things keep getting better for him. But, and, you know, Abuzah is not far off the conversation. Sib as well in the grand finals of the major, but online hasn't been. It's a bit more inconsistent, right? So there's a few names that come to mind. But yeah, definitely Mercules is right up there, and arguably every team would improve from getting him. Like, I think people are wondering if you put Mercules on, like, I don't know, Boston, how would they do, right? I'm genuinely intrigued because he joined Toronto last year. And of course they came, what, 3rd at that major instead of Beans. And that was impressive. But also, you got to consider that was his first tournament. And I think with Beans, they were looking really good coming into that major Toronto. I think they probably placed like 3rd anyway, even without Mercules. But you got to remember, like, that was Merc's first ever event. He's a better player now than he was then. He's still improving, I think, quite quickly. And that makes me wonder, like, could he join other teams and make them better, right? Like, you look up and down the league, even Gentlemates who won the major, you know, if you were able to slot Mercules in, I'm sure that you would try. If someone cloned him and there was a new Merc that someone had to pick up, and it couldn't be OpTic, right? Even though they probably wouldn't mind having 2 Mercs on a team. Yeah, it's just one of those industry plant type moments. But I'm just intrigued because I don't know if there's too many other players. We talk about it with Simp, right? It's like, oh, well, if you put Simp on a mid-pack team, how much better would he make them? And there are some players who probably would make a bigger impact than others. Feels like Mercules would be able to make quite the impact. And yeah, any team would be pretty lucky to have him. Right now, that's OpTic, and I don't imagine they want to change that anytime soon. Just because we mentioned the FaZe documentary at the start of the video, the stable dropped yesterday. Looking at what's happened with the Stallions in recent weeks. So yes, wishing the best for those boys going forward. Of course, not super clear what's happening next with the Stallions after the FaZe Falcons development in recent days. But intrigued your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
In COD, she used to be at events. My mom used to come to COD events, but she wouldn't tell me she was going to them. Like, at first. She would sneak up on me randomly. I remember Black Ops 4 Vegas. I just got 3-0'd by OpTic. I'm like storming out of the venue trying to get back to like my hotel. And like I bump into someone and I was like, oh sorry, excuse me. I look, I'm like, Mom? And she's like, hi. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, did you plan this? Did you bump into me on purpose? Like, what is going on? And she was so cute. She was talking to the one guy in the whole venue that was wearing an LG formal jersey, and she was just chatting him up because like, you know what I'm saying? Because the guy was wearing an LG formal jersey. Like, that's a real one. That's a fucking real one.